How's it going, everybody? So today we're going to be taking a look at some of the best retake utility sets for both A and B site on CS2 Dust 2. Now, of course, you're not always going to have all of the utility you need to pull these off, but if you do, why not know how to use it? But before we jump right in, I want to thank today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. So, SkinsMonkey is an automated CS2 trading site that provides an instant way for you to get new skins. All you have to do is select your old skins that you don't want anymore and then pick out some fresh ones to trade for. It's as easy as that. And right now you could get a free $5 if you use code TACTICS on the site. And finally, you could get up to a 35% deposit bonus when using my code. So thanks again to SkinsMonkey for sponsoring this video. Links in the description. So let's go ahead and get started with the A site. Now, typically what most people are going to be doing whenever they retake the site is someone's going to end up throwing this molly right off of this site. This is typically called the pizza molly. It's going to full molly pretty much all of the A bomb site. Now, right after that, a lot of times you're going to see someone maybe throwing a flash for themselves, something like this, where they can just peek with it and it's not going to blind them. Now, obviously, there's plenty of time for anyone to look away from that, but anyone that's towards sight or anything like that, they're going to have to turn, and that gives you a bit of an advantage since you can swing out with it and maybe catch some backs turn. But whenever it comes down to actually retaking it with your teammates, this is a very awkward site to retake because of all the different angles you have to clear, and it's kind of hard to flash from up here. A lot of times you're just going to see people just throwing flashes straight up like this, or maybe banking them off of this position, like off of this ramp. But what I like to do is something a little bit more complicated if I have a smoke and a flash or two. Now, if a couple of my teammates are coming up cat, what I like to do is I'll go right here into this corner, and I'm going to do a simple left click throw at the bottom middle of this little gap here between the box and the wall. This is the first half of one of the Vanguard smokes. These are very commonly used in the professional scene whenever you're going out and taking cat as a T. Now, why I like throwing this for CT is because right after I throw this smoke, I'm gonna look right here at this white dot. I'm gonna run all the way up here along this box without moving my mouse, and I'm just gonna do a couple of left clicks with a flash. Now, what this flash is doing is it's going on the back side of sight here, and it's going to absolutely roast anyone back here, even Goose. Now, the reason I like this flash is because as my teammates are pushing out, well, it's not going to blind them. Now, you're going to see this. I think I first saw this from VP Academy. I'm pretty sure Nard out here has shared this a couple of times. This is a very cool flash to throw because of the fact that your teammates can take a ton of space. Now, a lot of people are going to see this and be like, wow, I can see that thing coming in from a mile away, but that's not really the point. Especially if you throw two, when they turn back around, they may get blinded by the second, but during the chaos of both of those flashes throwing, with these enemies having to turn, your teammates, since they're not getting blinded, can continue to take space up towards sight. Now, in a perfect world, after I have thrown my smoke and I'm moving up here to get a flash lined up, hopefully a teammate has a Molotov left and is able to do a run throw at this palm tree to completely molly off all of back sight like this. Meanwhile, when I'm throwing those flashes over, it's a pretty easy take since the only positions that can be looking at these players are likely to get blinded by that flash or at the very least have to turn away. Now, of course, this is a retake, so it's not going to be a perfect world every single time. Sometimes you're not going to have a molly or a smoke. Sometimes you're just going to have a couple of flashes. So sometimes what I like to do instead is while I'm running up here, if I have a couple of teammates starting to push up, I'm just going to throw a simple flash towards this palm tree, take a little step with it, and it's going to pop on the opposite side of this wall, not blinding my teammates, but anyone set up in a position like this, well, they're going to get fully blinded. Same with anyone on site here. They're of course going to have to turn or eat that flash. So it's just a nice one you can layer up with your teammates as they're pushing up like this. And of course, if it's just you, it's hard to go wrong with this flash right here because it's going to destroy most of those initial contact points on site or back towards Goose if they're actively peeking you. And in a perfect world, this is what this might look like. After the smoke goes down, you go ahead, move up, get in position for the flashes. If your teammates have some extra stuff to throw, that's fantastic. And then you can just push on out in the middle of all the chaos. Hopefully you can disrupt some crossfires and kill as many of them as you possibly can. So moving on to the B-bomb site, let's talk about flashbang. So in a retake, the most common piece of utility you're gonna have is a flash. So whenever I'm stuck in a position where we're gonna have to re-entry into this B-bomb site, the main flash I'm throwing is I'm going right here, getting my left shoulder stuck along this wall, and I'm doing a simple left click throw at this part of the wire. Now this is the B site God Flash. This is gonna full blind pretty much every single position that you're ever gonna have to worry about when coming through door. As you can see, on the left side here, we have car, this close left position up here on this boost, and all of these positions as well are completely blinded off. Pretty much everywhere that could possibly see door is gonna get full blinded without hardly any time to react whatsoever. Or if your teammates would rather push through window, you can go right here into this same exact position and do a simple jump throw right here at this little rock. That's gonna go on the right side of window, so as your teammate is pushing up through here, he shouldn't be getting blinded by this, but it's gonna full blind pretty much every single position that he's gonna have to immediately worry about when it comes to peeking from this position. It's even gonna get someone really close under here for some crazy reason. I don't really know exactly why, but it does full blind this player, so pretty nice flash. So when it comes to pushing through window, this position right here is easily the most painful to deal with. So before the latest Molly update, for example, you could just do a simple jump throw right here into the middle of this shadow, and that would pretty much Molly all of backside, and it should spread to burn this guy out, and even spread around to get a little bit of double. This is an insane Molotov. Unfortunately now, with the changes to the incendiary grenades, that exact same lineup doesn't even come close to doing the same thing. It leaves this whole region completely unburned. So what I recommend doing now instead is going to that exact same position. You can crouch, find the very top of this line. You're then just gonna stand up and do a simple jump throw. And that Molly should go all the way back here and completely engulf this entire corner, spreading a little bit better than the other one. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that it is a pretty precise Molly, so it can mess up from time to time. And generally from that same spot, I'm also, right after I've thrown my Molly, I'll just throw a flash in the exact same lineup and peek with that. It's a pretty good flash that'll also blind most of these common positions, so after you don't have to worry about clearing this, it's really easy to peek with this, especially if you have teammates coming through door. So one of the best Mollies you can throw for a retake is by going right here into this corner and doing a simple jump throw at this notch along the right side of the doorway. That's gonna go all the way up here, and it should completely Molly off Back-Plat just like this. One thing you'll probably notice is after you do a simple jump throw with this Molotov, unfortunately, it doesn't always spread all the way into this corner. If you'll notice, there's actually a pretty good sized gap right here to where someone's not gonna be taking damage if they're tucked up in this far corner. So to get it to land a little bit better, I will aim a slight bit lower. So I'm gonna go down generally to this notch right here. So I'm just gonna go down to about here and do a simple jump throw, and that tends to land a little bit better and spread all the way into this corner to where it's gonna full burn anyone along this wall. But one thing to keep in mind, these mollies are completely useless if the enemy has smoked you off doors. If you'll take a look, well, I have absolutely no reference point to use anymore. So what I typically do is I'm gonna use my HUD. I'm gonna use the circular CT logo, and I'm gonna line it up with the box right here. So it's gonna end up looking like this. So I'm gonna make sure the circle goes all the way to the far right edge of the box where the left line is intersecting with it. If you'll notice, we're really close to that same exact lineup as before, and we're gonna do a jump throw, and as you can see, it's hitting. It's not always going to spread all the way to the corner, but it's way better than not being able to throw it at all. And now looking at our final molly, if you get stuck into this corner right here, I covered this one on the channel probably 8 months ago. You can go from this diagonal wooden beam to where it intersects with the corner of this wall, and you're going to do a simple jump throw with your incendiary. That's going to go all the way back here, and it's going to end up mauling off anyone holding behind this big box right here. This is a very common angle because it's really easy for them to pivot from watching door to watching window, so flushing them out of here is very beneficial. And what I love about this position is from that same spot that you're throwing this molly from, you can also do a jump throw with the smoke towards the top right of this pillar to where it's going to go all the way on the inside of doors here, completely smoking it off where it doesn't bleed out and cause for a nice little lurk smoke. So this is a good little utility set that you can throw. You can also throw the God Flash if you just go up from this little wheel up to, generally I like to go into this wedge right here where you're just left clicking right here. Now, if you go up too high, it's going to end up not blinding this player that's set up in this position. For example, say we go like all the way up to the wire. If someone's set right here along this wall, let's take a look at what happens. He's not full whited, but from that same spot, if we aim a little bit lower, for example, right here, let's take a look at what happens. If he's set up right here, well, he's going to absolutely eat it. So altogether, a full utility belt retake would look something like this. You would smoke off upper tons, you would molly off big box, and then you would flash pretty much all of sight just like this. As you can see, we have all these positions blinded. This guy's burning behind big box, and we have a nice smoke to completely cut off the tons players. So in an ideal situation, this is what it would look like. You've got one player off screen throwing the full utility belt, and as you can see, he's got tunnels smoked off. We have a molly coming in for Back-Plat and on big box. Once those flashes come through, they go through the smoke and just obliterate all those blinded enemies. So yeah, guys, I hope all of these utility sets help you out in your next retake situation on Dust 2. If you want to support me, go ahead and click that Skins Monkey link down in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one.